Alright folks, how's it going? I thought it was about time I did an update on my performance, etc. It's going to be kind of like how my weekly videos used to be, but with some differences, and just do what I feel like in the moment. But anyway, since the when was it actually? 4th of April was the last update I did. So I've just doing the performance from the last time I told you guys about my performance. So as you can see there, my portfolio since the 4th of April is up by 4.18%. compared to the three comparators, which are all less. So since the 6th of October, I'm now beating all my comparators with a less negative number, and from 2017, you can still see that I'm heavily behind. So obviously my true comparator, given that I'm in retirement and I'm withdrawing from a portfolio, is somewhere between those two numbers. And I'm only getting 25.22. So yeah, lots of reasons to never copy what I do. And then the dividend update. I'm just going to look back at the previous video where my dividends received was 5809.24 and compare it to my current dividends received, 6316.8. So I've received £507.56 since last time. Now, an important thing to note here is that it's excluding all the little tiddlers. What's going to happen is all my little tiddlers are going to get included right at the end of my kind of accounting year at the 6th of October. So in the ballpark of 230 odd quid will get registered in October, 6th of October, but actually has just been gradually coming in over the months prior. Oh yeah, so let's continue looking at the performance, and we can see I've just modified my spreadsheet a bit here, so I can just type in the from and the to date, and then it calculates the performance in the share price. Obviously it doesn't take into account ex-dividend dates, but it does it from the close of the 4th to the close of the 17th, so it's just since last time. And we can see here that the UK ones have done reasonably well compared to the American ones and the European smaller companies there. And then obviously my individual holdings have done quite well over that time frame, apart from UPS, although UPS hasn't done too badly. SEHD was worse, Pfizer was worse, and GSK. Now, when did I'm wondering, when did Trump do his first amazing presentation on the tariffs? Okay, so Trump announced his initial tariff bluff on the 2nd of April. So if we go from the close on the 4th of April, just out of interest, I just want to see how things generally have gone since that day. Obviously, we have to ignore SCHD and Fundsmith because we don't have the data for that. Those two just get manually put in. But yeah, obviously UPS has done terribly because obviously they deliver things. I presume they deliver it from country to country. That's why it's done so badly. Scottish Mortgage, lots of tech stuff. Yeah, all the American stuff. The English stuff, well, City of London and Merchants is positive. Lowland's a lot lower. Yeah, and most of these trusts, the property and the renewables, are all up since the initial tariff announcements. And then obviously the more global stuff. Mind you, I don't quite know why Barclays seems to do worse than NatWest. Actually, no, I think NatWest is a lot more domestic. I don't know exactly what international business Barclays has, but I think it is more than NatWest. Maybe that's why. But yeah, I just thought I'd check that out of interest. Right, so what happened? Oh yeah, I mean, I guess Monday the 7th, a couple of weeks ago, that was the first day of the new tax year. So the first thing I did was, I didn't particularly want to make this move. I just really wanted to tidy up the fact that I had a property trust in my general investment account from Trading 212, and that causes tax complications. I've still got a couple of quid to reclaim back. I don't know if I can be bothered, to be honest, because now that I've done this here, I won't get taxed at all. So it makes it simpler going forward. So I just wanted to get that done really quickly. So I sold my holding that was in the invest account of Trading 212 of Target Healthcare, and I put it into Schroeder Real Estate instead. So we can see here, I don't know what the numbers were like last time, but there's a little bit more in Schroeder and a little bit less in Target Healthcare REIT. Yeah, that really was just a case of me not liking the fact that I had to faff around with the tax man because of that. And then on the 7th, oh yeah, and this is the other thing. I mentioned this in my previous update that I wanted to just get my Fundsmith-ish portfolio all in the same account so that I could use a pie and just kind of tidy up the whole thing. And as you can see, that has been done now. So yeah, I'll just show you the pie now that it's all up to date. And it's just a lot neater. I mean, I already made it neater in the last video, didn't I? because I'd already done this, but now the holdings, this is like the whole of the Funds with Fish portfolio now. So when you look at this pie, this is the whole thing. So yeah, it matches now. Microsoft has overtaken Meta. When did that happen? Huh. I didn't notice that. Meta was the biggest holding up until quite a while ago. So any updates to that can be done. If I really wanted to, I could do it using the rebalance button, set the new percentages and click rebalance. Or I can do it manually just by moving things in and out of the pie. There was quite a bit of spread happening there, but you know, I've taken the hit now on the spread, moving from outside to inside, and the FX fee as well of 0.3% round trip for them all. But yeah, it's nice just to get that all behind me, and it's all nicely organised now in the ISA. So on the 9th of April, I think this was just kind of confirmation that the bid that they'd kind of talked about as a prospect has actually happened for Assura. And it just comes in at NAV, I think. But since I've sold it, it doesn't really matter to me. It's just kind of seeing what I've missed out on, really. Now, I don't remember exactly, but I remember Assura was like at a discount here, or my estimate of the discount, it was about 5% when I sold. So it's just a few percentage difference, really. But as we can see here, how have I done in comparison? See, I'm up 10% on Schroeder Real Estate. I can't remember exactly what I put the money into. Probably Target Healthcare. Yeah, so I think it looks like I've probably made a decent move, because obviously there was a limited upside on Assura, because that bid was coming in at that number. Having said that, I think we'll see it in the next announcement. We'll see that rival bids can happen, can't they? So it's not always the right choice. Oh, sorry, yeah, the next thing was actually the Gore Street Energy had its dividend. And so obviously, in the previous video I mentioned that I wanted to buy Gresham House, but I couldn't because Iowa wouldn't let me. So I ended up putting more into Gore Street and just deciding to reinvest those extra shares. I'm going to put the dividend into Gore Street Energy and pretend. So I've pretended that I didn't get the dividend for those extra 4880 shares. I just reinvested that cash. So £48.80 in my trading 2-on-2 account. I put that much into Gore Street Energy, because obviously in the trading 2-on-2 account there's no £5 charge for each transaction. So doing transactions with these small amounts isn't completely illogical like it would be in iWeb. So yeah, I've got those extra shares, which in turn is part of why my expected dividend for the year is now higher than it was in this previous footage where it was up 12.41%. That's part of why that is now higher, because obviously you buy more shares. The expected dividend going forward is higher because you've got more shares. That's what they mean by compound returns, so that's part of it, is reinvesting dividends and getting a higher dividend the next time, as well as the growth. Oh yeah, and then we had some good news on Gore Street Energy Storage. The tax credit, which the market was doubting quite heavily. It seems like the first tranche, is that the right word? The first lot of the tax credits being sold has been agreed, and it can't be fully agreed because they're giving us a range here, but yeah, a minimum of 18 million should be coming in from the selling of the first lot of these tax credits that they've got for building the energy storage sites in America. So yeah, the share price moved heavily on about 8%. I mean, this graph doesn't really give you much, but yeah, 8% first day, and then it went up another few percent the day after. I mean, don't trust this, because look, I'm relying on Hargreaves Lansdown data, which I have no doubt is wrong. But you can see why it was bumped by that news, because actually that 18 million on its own is 5.9% of the total holding now after the bump in the share price. So you can imagine it also, the fact that they've got one being sold without a problem shows that the extra 40 odd million that should be coming in later, I think it says here, doesn't it? I think it gives more confidence that the remainder of it, so the total amount once it's all done should be between 60 and 80. So that extra minimum 40 million has an increased likelihood of happening as well, doesn't it? So you can see why the share price got bumped by that. Right, and that was the last of the news. Yes, but hang on a sec, there's something missing here. Yeah, I didn't put it in because I sold it. I'm always in two minds of whether to talk about things that I've already sold or not. But yes, so I obviously haven't put it in this time in the spreadsheet, but Harmony Energy has had another bid for its batteries, and that's had a boost. it seems like since the last update, my choice of going into that and selling Harmony Energy has proved good. Although I'm sure before the 4th, in total, I've probably not done as good. Let's have a look, shall we? So I sold on the 17th. Gore Street's up 17.12%. Harmony Energy's up 23.08. Okay, so yeah, it was definitely a bad choice to sell. I think it's hard to know what to do when bids come in, because I think sometimes that means there's limited upside. Other times it means that other bids can come through, like with Harmony Energy. It seems like I've made the wrong choice in selling so early with Harmony, but it's not a massively bad decision because, you know, it's only 17 versus 23. And I feel like there's more upside now, because if you look at the share price now, Gore Street Energy is on a 40% discount to its end of year value, and Harmony Energy is on a 1.2% premium. But that is from 6 months prior though, so who knows what's happened to the NAV since the 31st of July. Yes, so that last video I did on Chase Cashback, I realised today, I was sat in McDonald's and I realised that I'd paid for my McDonald's with my Chase card. And I was like, hang on a sec, I'm sure McDonald's doesn't count for the cashback. And yeah, I looked in the app and it's not there. And I went through all of my a load of my previous since the 7th of April. I went through my app and checked all of the purchases I'd made on the card. And there's loads of them that I've wasted by using that card instead of my Trading 212 card. So what I've decided to do now is I've just got I always use Google Keep, the app on my phone, just to like make notes to myself, and then I can log on here as well and see them on my laptop, and update them on my laptop, shopping lists, stuff like that, little bits of information that I need to remember. So yeah, I've just copied it across. So when I was sat in McDonald's today, I've just gone through it all and made a list of each thing that does pay it and doesn't pay it. So I mentioned in the last video that you need that MCC code. I think it's a merchant's code of some sort, and it's not always clear how to find the merchant's code. So anyway, and I figured it's easier just to make a list. So I've got, what I've done here is I've made a list of all of my purchases. Because there's some things, like, it never occurred to me that takeaway wouldn't count. But if you actually read the list, it's only groceries. And in my head, groceries, takeaways, I don't know why I associated them together. It makes no sense, really. But yeah, it doesn't count. So like, I made a Greggs purchase before I got my train the other day, or yesterday. B&M, I never thought of B&M bargains and Poundland. I think Poundland's here, yeah, they don't count either. Even though there's lots of groceries you can buy in B&M and Poundland, doesn't count. So yeah, I think it's good to have a proper list like this, and then you don't have to go searching for the merchant's code before I purchase. And the other thing I've done is I've swapped the position in my wallet. I keep the card because it's just muscle memory. Every time I get my wallet out to pay, the first thing that comes out is my Chase card, and I don't even look at the card half the time. So I've swapped it so that the default muscle memory card is my Trading 212 one, because I'll always get 0.5%. And then hopefully the fact that I'm looking at a different colour card when I bring it out of my wallet, hopefully that's like a reminder to think about which card I should be using. Get on my phone, check which company it is, and see whether I get cash back or not. And if I don't, I can use my Trading 212 card. And I just update this list. Anyway, that's that little update on my spending. And that's it. So I guess I'll see you next time. And who knows when it'll be. See you later. Bye.